Hi, I'm Mr. eTutor, your mystery tutor here at mysterytutor.com, and welcome to video module 8-5. In this module, I'd like to discuss what you should do when things go wrong. Because believe me, no matter who you are, things are going to go wrong multiple times when you take the test. Something that a lot of very driven students fail to understand is that every test taker is human. No matter how hard you try to prepare and how much studying you do, there are going to come a few moments when, for some reason, something goes wrong. When this happens, don't panic and throw up your hands and say, everything I thought I learned about the SAT from that mystery tutor guy must not have been true, because trust me, everything you're learning from me is true. Instead, keep a level head and remind yourself that all the work you've done up to this point has shown you that every real SAT question of a particular question type is exactly the same as every other real question of that question type. And the question you're looking at right now when you feel all this frustration is no different. I'd like to go over a few of the things you can do for each question type when this situation inevitably arises. For the reading comprehension questions, the important thing to do is start over from zero. Clear out of your mind everything you thought you read in the passage, everything you thought you read in the question, and everything you thought you read in the answer choices. The problem is almost certainly that you've either left out a word or that you don't understand a word that you think you know the meaning of. Another likely problem for reading comprehension questions is that you might not be looking at the right part of the passage. Remember, if the passage has a line citation, you want to look in that line citation and perhaps one or two sentences before it and after it. Remember, as with every other question type, the correct answer choice must follow the standards that we've discussed here, and the incorrect answer choices will follow their standards as well. For sentence completion questions, the same thing essentially applies. The problem is almost always either that you don't know a word that you think you know, or that you've misread the prompt sentence. Believe it or not, it's more often a problem with misreading the sentence than it is a problem with not knowing the words. So, slow down, take a deep breath, and go over the sentence again. Don't try to tell it what it says. Sit back and listen and let it tell you what it says. For writing multiple choice questions, remember to rely primarily on your gut, and to supplement your gut intuitive feelings with the standards that we've discussed in these videos. If a writing question seems not to be coming along, again, back off it for a minute, close your eyes, take a deep breath, and look at the question again with fresh eyes. The problem is almost certainly that you've overlooked a word. For math questions, remember, no matter how much it might seem to be otherwise, the math section really is only allowed to use certain basic concepts, and you really can know all of those concepts in advance. If a question seems to be unanswerable using only those concepts, it's not because it's using more advanced concepts. It's because you haven't figured out the trick behind the question yet. If you practice our 9-step method, you'll find that figuring out the questions becomes easier and easier with more practice. Another important thing to remember with math questions is that math questions are almost always made difficult by properties and definitions, not by calculations. Your math questions are unlikely to be difficult for any reason that a calculator could help you with. Instead, they're going to be difficult because you're not entirely clear on certain fundamental concepts. So, the way you keep that from happening is by practicing the fundamental concepts in advance. Finally, as a general rule, it's important to understand and accept that there might very well be a couple of questions on any given test that you just can't figure out the answer for in the time you have. There's no shame in that. It happens to everybody eventually. Remember, on most days, you can still leave 2 or 3 questions blank per section and score above 750, which is no small thing, and a score that almost anybody would be happy to have. Thanks for watching this, and remember, don't fool yourself into thinking that you can possibly keep things from going wrong. Things are going to go wrong. What you can do is prepare yourself to adapt to situations when they do arise. If you can keep a level head and not panic, you'll know it's easier than you think.